This is what I'd like to see, a dual battery bike. 1, 2, with over 100-mile range that costs just over $1,000. And that's what you got here with the CyCHunter vintage e-bike from CYCROWN. Most e-bikes with over 100-mile range usually cost about $500 to $1,000 more. So more range, cheaper price. I'll take that any day of the week, except for Wednesday. This bike isn't something that I would recommend for experienced riders. And to be honest with you, it's actually pretty boring as far as performance for me. But woo, for new riders, it pretty much has everything that you want in a new e-bike. And I know that because I've actually watched a bunch of new riders ride e-bikes, and they tell me the things that they like and don't like. The first thing that you'll like if you're a new rider is the very, 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 very slow acceleration. Come on, here we go. The last thing you're gonna want if you're a little bit scared and intimidated with e-bikes is a fast poppy throttle, and this is everything but that. I thought it was interesting and a little funny that they said that this can top out in 3.8 seconds. The target speed is 28 miles per hour, so I'm just gonna count out loud. Here we go. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. There's no way. That was 15 miles an hour. I think the guys over at E-Bike Report are probably gagging with my very hasty acceleration test. But anyways, definitely not gonna hit 28 miles per hour in 3.8 seconds. For me personally, I do not like that. That is way too slow. But if you're new to e-bikes, I think you will like that feature. The second thing that new riders have told me that they like is a longer delay in the pedals, which means that they wanna start pedaling a couple times before the power comes on. And when the power comes on, they like it to be gentle and easy. And that is what you got here. Before I test it out, I'm gonna set it to the highest pedal assist level, which is 5. And then I've got my SIS Index Shimano shifter set to 1. Here we go. There's 1, 2, about 2.5 revolutions before the power hits. And when it does, you can almost feel it come on. You can hear it more than you can feel it. The reason why new riders like that feature is because it allows them to get their balance before the power comes on. The third thing I mentioned at the beginning of the review, and that's the long range. The last thing you guys are gonna want after you bought your first e-bike is a battery that only goes 10 miles. No, 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 no. You want a bike that is going to go the distance. And that's what you have here with these dual batteries. Got a charge port cover. You can turn the battery off and on, and then check the battery life up here. Each of these are a 48 volt, 13 amp hour, and they each take 4 to 5 hours to fully charge. And once fully charged, they say you can get a range up to 120 miles. Now, of course, you're not gonna be topping the bike out, hitting 120. Usually I take the range rating, divide it by 2, and that's what you can expect if you're going around 23, 24 miles per hour. Now, those batteries are also UL certified, and when you do charge them up, they have all the BMS stuff in there, battery management system, so overcharge, undercurrent, over technical jargon that I don't know. And that's all I have to say about range. It could just go and go and go and go and go and go, and then go some more. Okay, now I'm done. Number 4 is the price. It's not a super expensive bike at $1,100, and that's enough money to buy you some decent gear. Let me just stop and show you what kind of gear you get. But before I do, they also offer a 30-day free money-back guarantee. Okay, so let's dive into this thing and look at what we got here. So grips, those are pretty standard and what I see for a bike in this price range. I was happy to see a color LCD screen. A little bit tricky to see when the sun's out. Moving in the back, you got a turny Shimano derailleur, and then some Chaoyang tires. These guys typically produce a softer rubber, which makes the ride more comfortable. Up front, you got motorcycle style suspension. Not sure what the treble on that is. I couldn't find that information. If I do, I will put that in the description. And then in the rear, you got a spring suspension. You can adjust that spring tension by turning this. And that's pretty much it. It's time to talk about number 5, and that is the look and design. If you're gonna buy a bike as a new e-bike rider, you gotta like the way it looks. And I think this is actually a pretty cool looking bike. This is a moped style bike. It's got a fixed saddle, which I like how large that is. It's actually pretty comfortable. And I think the color matches the frame pretty nice. Brown and black, you can't go wrong with that. Up front, you got BMX style handlebars, which I think pairs well with the moped style frame. And then the frame is pretty rustic looking. You got some gnarly welding scars up top. I like the dual battery display. A lot of times they'll have a battery up here and then one back here, but these guys decided to go 2 side by side, which I think looks pretty cool. Typically, I don't like a lot of welding scars unless it's on a moped style bike. It just makes it look a little bit more tough. Now, I couldn't find the weight, but if I just had to gauge it, yeah, that's gotta be 75 plus pounds. It can carry up to 330 pounds. And the frame comes in either black, which is what I have, or green. Now they have a rider size rating of 5'3" up to 6'5". I'm a 5'11" guy and I actually feel kind of small on the bike. It's a big frame bike. And that is one thing that you're probably not gonna like if you're new to e-bikes. What I've seen is that people tend to get a little bit nervous with a big and bulky bike. If you can get over that part of it, everything else about this, I think you'll like. With the BMX style handlebars that raises the grips up pretty high, I've got an upright and comfortable posture, a lot of space in the cockpit. And when the pedal's all the way down, I've got just a slight bend to my knee. Most moped style bikes, when the pedal's all the way down, my knee is bending a little bit more. So the pedal to the seat distance is pretty big, which means that if you wanted to pedal this, you'd actually be okay. A couple more features I like about the design of this bike is the huge headlights. And I also like the rims. Those are pretty cool. Got this BMX vibe to them. Got a cutesy little horn. And then turn signals, which does that. Now there are a few things that I didn't like, and that's what I want to talk about now. And the first is the lack of power for climbing hills. Yesterday I did a hill test on it. I started from the bottom and I did make it to the top, but I was only crawling at 5 to 6 miles per hour, so pretty slow. However, I was impressed that it actually made it. I didn't think it was going to. The second thing I didn't like are the brakes. You really got to put a lot of pressure in the levers for hard braking. Yeah! And when you do, it doesn't stop you that fast. Yeah! The third thing is all this wire. You just have a lot of extra wire in front of the handlebars, and I'm not sure why they did that. I've even tried pulling it down, but then if you do that, it's all bunched up down here. The last thing I don't like is the sound the motor makes. Sometimes it just has this weird high-pitched pulsating. I don't know if you can hear that or not. That sound just doesn't fill me with the most confidence. Other than that, I thought this was a pretty awesome bike for somebody who just wants to pick up their first e-bike. It's got a super soft and gentle acceleration. It's a cool looking bike. I like the design. It's got a huge range with 2 batteries with over 100 miles. And then that delay in the pedals so that you can get your balance before the power kicks on.
Ruining your video, sorry.
It's all good. I'm gonna put you in it now. If you guys know people that are a little bit nervous about buying their first e-bike, point them in this direction. I think this is a good option for a timid rider. If you want more info on it, I've got the link below. I'll also see if I can get a coupon code to save you guys a few bucks. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Why don't hit the camera?